Hi, this is Matt, your New England treasure seeker, and here it is, January 1st, 2012. And I wanted to do a brief video today because, you know, New Year's Day and New Year's Eve is time for resolutions and starting a new year, starting fresh, and I wanted to give some insight into that. See, the problem with most resolutions that they're really not successful. It's almost a cliche, if you will, that you make a resolution and then you count the hours before you break that resolution. So resolutions really aren't successful very much. They're really wishes, and we all know how often wishes come true. But you know, we still want to talk about where we want to go in 2012 and beyond, and how to get there. And that's kind of what we're going to talk about, and I'm going to do that in a couple of ways. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to tell a little bit of a story. The story has to do with Mike Tyson. You know, I've mentioned this story a few times, and most people know who Mike Tyson is, know he's a boxer, know he's a guy who bites ears or fights dirty. But that's not the Mike Tyson I really want to talk about. I want to talk about a younger Mike Tyson, coming out of, coming up through the ranks of the amateur boxing, through the Olympics, and then coming out as a world championship boxer. And he was so good that he was known as Iron Mike Tyson, because he'd throw that right at you. If he connected, you were knocked out. Simple as that. And there were more than one bout where I saw where he won the bout in less than a minute in the first round. So that's Mike Tyson that I want to talk about. Now, why was Mike Tyson arguably at that time in his life one of the best boxers in the history of boxing? Was it because he was, that much stronger? I don't think so. The diets are probably similar to all top level champion boxers. The workouts were same day in, day out, morning through nighttime, whatever the routine is, probably pretty similar across the spectrum. So he wasn't really that much stronger than other boxers. Well, speed is pretty important too, so maybe he was faster. But again, we're talking about top level boxers. They all have speed. Maybe he has a little bit more speed, maybe not. Again, is it that significantly more to say that he is the best? Not really. Was it his intelligence? No, I've heard him talk. He's definitely not more intelligent than any other boxer. So what was it about Mike Tyson that made him the top boxer? And it's not a lot, guys. It's not a lot. It's this much, guys. Very little. What I call the edge. Brian Tracy calls it the competitive edge. But it's the edge. The tiny little aspect that makes him just that much better, that produces champions. And what about you? I mean, is that the kind of champion that you want to become? How do you get that edge? And does that edge really exist? I mean, I'm saying it here on a YouTube video, but does it really exist? The proof comes a couple years later, when Mike Tyson started. It started really with Barbara Walters' interview, where it came out that there were some problems within his marriage, resulted in a divorce, and that was his downfall. Since then, Mike Tyson has not won a championship bout. He lost his title and has never gained it back. So that little edge that he had when he started to have some marital problems just went away. And Mike Tyson isn't the only person. More contemporary example of that would be Tiger Woods. Tiger Woods was unbeatable on the golf course. He was considered the best golfer in the history of at least modern golf. And he had a problem with his wife. It came out. There were some other problems, and now he has trouble making the cut, let alone winning a tournament. But this video is not about how you lose that edge. It's how to have that edge to begin with. Unfortunately, boxers really have a very limited time frame where they're physically able to compete at a championship level. So Mike Tyson will never become a heavyweight boxing champion again. Tiger Woods, if he can get that edge back, he has a good chance, because he knows how to become a champion. He just doesn't have that edge anymore. If he can get that edge back, he too could become champion. Now what about you? How can you get that edge? Because if you want to be a champion, you want to be the best in your industry, doesn't matter what your industry is, if that's what you want to do, how do you get that? How can you become the champion of your industry? The trick is how to get that edge. And I'm going to tell you that. Do you want to know? Do you want to know? Do you really want to know? I'm going to tell you. Here's how you do it. There are 3 components to becoming a champion. Number 1 is you need to educate yourself. Now, I don't use the word as a noun. It's not education, because I don't want to be somebody who learns something and then is stagnant and thinks I know everything. Always be in tune and be learning, and in 2 different areas. One area is in your industry specifically. Those of you who don't know my background, before I became a full-time picker, I was in the pest control industry. I had a couple of books that were key that most people in the pest control industry didn't have. I had it because I needed to know everything I needed to know about my industry. I was involved in association meetings. I was involved in reading and researching the newest pesticides and techniques that were coming out, and I became an expert in my field. But that wasn't the only thing. I also needed to know how to sell. And the old saying is, you could be the best computer technician in the world, okay, but if you don't know how to sell and market yourself and your business, then you're working for somebody else. But if you want to run your own company, you want to run your own business, then you also need not only be an expert in your individual industry, but you need to know how to sell and market. There are a ton of books out there, everything from Tom Hopkins to Napoleon Hill to Joe Girard to so many I can't even name them all. I used to have a stack of about 10 or 12 of them, and I read through them. I went back to them, read sections of them. I used them in my downtime so that I can learn what it needs to be a champion. Okay, so education's the first component. You need to educate yourself in your industry and in sales and marketing. The next thing you need to do is you need to set goals. And this is a great time to talk about that, because we're all right now, so many of us set resolutions. The end of the year, beginning of the new year, we make resolutions. Those are nothing more than wishes unless they're actual goals that you set. Now there's a difference between a goal and a wish, and I want to give you a few of the highlights to determine which is which. The first thing is a goal needs to be specific and measurable. You need to know when you've achieved your goal. Alright, so a goal of I want to increase sales this year is not a goal, it's a wish. But if I want to increase sales by 50% this year over last year, that's a goal. Alright, you also notice I put time frame in there. That's an important part of it too. You need to have not only a specific goal, but a time frame to achieve that. Whether it be a year, 5 years, a month, 6 months, a week. Whatever your goal is that you're working on, it has to have a time frame so you know when you are on target to achieve it. The next thing you need to do is it needs to be written down. Alright, we all know in grade school when you had a spelling unit you had to learn a 10 or 20 spelling words. The first thing they had you do is to write it 10 times, each word 10 times. The physical act of writing down your goals not only makes it written down so you could see it, but your brain interprets it slightly different. It enables you to actually remember and internalize those goals. Because without internalizing the goals, they're nothing more than just a few words that are written down or rambled on. The second part about writing it down is write multiple copies of it. Put one in your notebook, put one in the mirror in your bathroom or in your bedroom, put it on the refrigerator, on the dashboard of your car, someplace where you're going to see it every single day. Because goals are important, you need to have them in front of you. The The old saying is, if you don't know where you're going, any road will take you there. The problem with that is you end up having to deal with wherever you end up. But if you got a goal, then you can determine what roads will get you to where you want to be. So goal setting is so important. The final part that makes it a goal is you need to publicize it. If you just tell yourself and that's it, maybe most people that's okay. But you need to talk to people. And I'm not going to sit here on YouTube and tell the YouTube world what my goals are. The wrong format for that. My goals are shared with friends and family. When I was working for somebody, I shared it with my supervisor, maybe a coworker, so they knew what it was I was trying to achieve. That puts more onus on you to be able to actually accomplish those goals. So, first step, educate yourself. The second step, set those goals, write them down, and make them. The final thing about goal setting I forgot to mention is you need to have it out of your comfort zone. If you really want to be a champ, don't set a goal that you're pretty sure you can make. Get a goal that's achievable, that you know you can somehow achieve it, but it's something that's a little farther than you've ever thought you could go. That will push you to become a champion. But once you've done those first two parts, there's a third part, and that's the key, folks. That's it. That third part. That's the edge. And without that third component, the first two parts are just an exercise, and you'll never achieve what you want to achieve. But that final part, that's the edge. That's what makes a champion. That's what made Mike Tyson the champion that he is. And that is commitment. Commitment is so important, folks, to achieving your goals, to becoming the best you can be, that do not dismiss that. It has to be felt in the very fiber of your soul. That's how you become a champion. And unless you do that level of commitment, you might have some successes, and maybe you don't want to be the best, but with that commitment you'll be able to go as far and as successful as you want to get. And a good example of that is somebody like Mariano Rivera, the New York Yankees, considered the best closer in the history of baseball. Why? Because he's consistent. He's committed to becoming successful just about every time he has that ball in his hand and he's ready to throw it. And that level of commitment has lasted for, I think it's 14 years. And he has more saves than any closer in the history of baseball. And that kind of commitment, that's what you need. That's what a champion needs. That's right. Commitment. That's the most important aspect of this. Because without commitment, the other two parts of this program, if you will, are just exercises and futility. You need to commit to the very fiber of your soul for you to become a champion at whatever it is that you want to do. And that's it. There's no magic bullet, guys. Educate yourself. Set those goals, not wishes, but goals. And more importantly, commit to it. And with that commitment, you too can become whatever it is that you want to achieve. And you got to be careful. That level of commitment can lead to other problems. If your goals are strictly business goals and you have that level of commitment and you're married, you're going to have marital problems before long. So goal setting has to be universal throughout your life. It can't be just business goals. Business goals are great. It can be based on sales, it can be based on profits, it can be based on revenue, it can be based on units sold, growth of your business, whatever the case may be. You can couple that with your personal goals, spiritual goals, family goals, relationship goals, social goals, what encompass goals set in throughout all of your life. Then when you make that level of commitment that makes you the champion, then you'll be a well-rounded champion. You won't get those distractions I can guarantee you that Tiger Woods and Mike Tyson probably did not have very solid family or relationship goals. Otherwise, they would not have lost the edge that they did. And guys, that's all there is to it. Well, that's it. It's January 2012. And I've got some plans for you guys. Cameron's going to come with me. We're going to go to a couple of different types of auctions. We're going to bring in a lot of stuff. My garage is starting to empty out. I've got very little inventory at this point, so that's what winter's great for me. We're going to build up inventory, and we're going to blow out the doors and have some great successes in 2012. So until then, guys, keep your eyes open, your head on a swivel, and you too can make money doing this.